2026 has been a year to remember for young long jumper Shahnavaz Khan. Just a few months back, he was just a relatively unknown teenager from Pratapgarh, Uttar Pradesh, and today he is just 18 and he's a world under 20 bronze medalist and one of the most exciting long jump talent in India. But to understand that what makes this year, what makes Shahnavaz so special, we need to go back where all this journey actually began. So Shahnavaz grew up in a Madhaipur village in Pratapgarh, which is actually close to Allahabad, and his father was actually a taxi driver. And in 2018, when Sanmoz was just 10 years old, he lost his father to cancer. His uncle, Muhammad Hadiz, played a huge role in the life of Sanmoz. Hadiz was actually an army person, an army athlete, and a former national level javelin thrower. As a child, Sanmoz would run and swim, at the banks of the Sai River with his uncle, and there was no fancy tracks available, no sophisticated training facilities, no high performance center, whatever, no synthetic tracks, and his village long jump competition were held on the mud tracks, and athletes had to land on the makeshift mud pits. But that is where Shahnavaz Khan actually developed love for the long jump. In 2020, his uncle helped him to get admission at the Science Center in Panvel, Mumbai. After 3 years, he moved from National, Panvel Center to NIS Patiala. But things did not work for the Shahnavaz Khan because coaches, there at the NIS Patiala wanted him to become the decathlete. Sanmos had another plans. He did not actually want to train for the 10 events. He did not want to go from that reverse of the 10 event training, and he wanted to be a long jumper. He refused the coach. He was pretty sure about it, and he eventually returned from Patiala to home. And then came a lucky break for Sanmaz Khan. In 2024, he reached out to the coach Kirti Tiwari in Bangalore, and at that time his personal best was around 7.10, 7.20, something related to that. But Kirti saw something special in him. She saw speed, she saw agility, she saw strength, and most importantly, explosive power that Sehwag actually hold. She believed that Sehwag could reach the international level, and she was right. And that prediction actually came true. Now let's come to the 2025, which means last year. This was actually, this is where everything changed for the Sehwag. Sehwag started the year with a 7.70-meter jump to win gold at the National Games in Dehradun, and I was there to cover Sehwag. Then he jumped 7.90 meters to win the Junior Federation Cup in Prayagraj. I was also there. And then came the Bhubaneswar, and that's the magic happened. He was competing against some of the biggest name of the Indian long jump history. Just when Aldrin, national record holder, mostly Bolisi Shankar was there. Lokesh Satnathan returned from USA, he was there. But the competition, Sen was little nervous before that. I talked to him, but instead of thinking about the opponent, he decided to focus upon himself. He took his competition wave and wrote two simple words on that: 8 meter plus, and thank you, Papa. And then he delivered, and for you, Papa. On his fourth attempt, Sanwat jumped 8.04 meter, and that made him only the fourth Indian man to cross the 8 meter mark in the long jump. At just 17-year-old, he became the youngest Indian to cross the 8 meter mark as well. Muli Shankar eventually won that competition with a final jump of 8.13 meter, but somehow Sanwaz was holding the lead, and Sanwaz has already made his statement on that day, not today. And what tells you even more about his mentality, what he has said afterward, he wasn't disappointed about missing out the gold. I talked to him. He said that I'm not, disappointed about the medal. I was just disappointed because I could have jumped even, further. And he believed that he can, go beyond the 8.0 meter, 8.04 mark. And the hunger actually set the cornerstone. And he was right about that. After the Bhubaneswar, then came another moment. Sanwaz actually continued his progress in the 2026 at the Junior Federation Cup this year in Tumkuru. He jumped 8.23 meter, break the Sashi Shankar long-standing national record, and he also won the later under 20 Asian title at the Hong Kong as well, and that was a amazing performance. Then he came back to the interstate championship Bhubaneswar, where Sanwaz actually jumped the 8.30 meter at the Kalinga Stadium to improve his own junior national record to qualify for the Asian Games and establish himself as the third best long jumper from India. And it was just a start for Sanwaz. Asian Games will come at this time. I think the target was a Asian game medal, and he delivered every time. Whenever you expected from Sarwaz, he delivered. And with the 7.84 meter jump today, in Eugene, he actually became the global medalist as well. That he won a world championship medal. And think about the journey: a boy from Uttar Pradesh, training on the mud track, jumping on the mud pace, losing his father at just age of 10, and walking away from the decathlon program, believing that that I am a long jumper and I can do something, in this field. And then a few years later, standing on the world championship podium, becoming India's first male jumpers to achieve this. Sanmoz was not satisfied. He's still not satisfied. He knows that 8 meters or this, medals are not enough for the senior level. He had to jump more, he had to work hard, and he believes that he needs to go around 8.40, 8.50 meter mark to challenge at the world championship, senior world championship, and he already has his next target. After writing 8 meter plus on his beam in Bhubaneswar last year and achieving, the global championship medal, junior championship medal, now Shahnavaz target was completely different. 2026 has changed the Shahnavaz. He announced himself, and now the question is that whether he can jump more or not, whether he can win a Asian Games medal or not, and the question is that how far Shahnavaz can go. Reporting for Rev Sports, I'm Abhishek Mishra from New Delhi, and thank you for watching it. Do like us, subscribe us, and share us. Tap the bell icon. Thank you.
For India's best multi-sports coverage, your platform is one, and that's Rev Sports. So like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. I think by now you know that we will be everywhere in different parts of the world and bring you on-ground reportage. As I said, your best multi-sports coverage on Rev Sports, your favorite destination.